Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just finished this book, Shadowhouse Fall, and this is an advanced reader's copy of this book by Daniel Jose Older that's being released in September. I've been reading it for Booktubeathon and I literally just finished it and just had to make a video really quick because it was just such an intense powerful book and kind of sparked a lot of things in me, and so I just wanted to have a chat with you guys. So Shadowhouse Fall is the sequel to Shadowshaper, this book, and these books are urban fantasy stories. The main character is half black, half Latina, lives in Brooklyn, and it's about magic and her friends and the things that they're dealing with. So I loved Shadowshaper, the first book, which is why I picked up Shadowhouse Fall, but I will say there were some significant differences. Both of them were fantastic, but I'll tell you why this book prompted me to want to make this video. Daniel Jose Older talks about in the end of it, which makes total sense, that this book was written during a major time of upheaval for our country as Americans. With this recent election and with the new president, and even prior to that, there's been a lot of things going on in terms of social unrest and racial tensions and things happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, and so much more awareness about issues with police violence. And I want to be a little careful here. I'm not here to say, you know, all police are violent or problematic, but that clearly we can see that there are some really problematic patterns that affect certain demographics in our country, and this is part of what the Black Lives Matter movement is about. And so Shadowhouse Fall clearly was written right in the middle of all of that, of this political change and the social unrest. And in this book, with these characters who are primarily people of color, DJ Older does a really great job of addressing a lot of these issues in a way that kind of hits home and is pretty intense. He deals with things like unlawful police violence during arrest and the way that these teenagers are being handled in ways that might be different from their high school classmates who are white. And he's bringing up a lot of really important issues. I think that everybody should go out and pick up this book. It releases in September, and seriously, go read it. It's great. And you know, beyond the fact that I think it deals with some really important issues that we need to think about, it's also just a great story with good characters and magic. And maybe it's just what I normally read, but I've never read anything where someone is able to put dialogue in the mouths of these characters that sounds like what these, you know, urban teens living in Brooklyn would say, and what they would sound like, and the way they would talk, and the cadences of the speech. And it's really cool. He does such a great job of that, and I think probably because he lives there, he lives in the heart of Brooklyn. To see it put down in writing like this is just so amazing, and I think so particularly amazing for younger teenagers of color who are growing up. And one thing I want to say here too is that I realize obviously that I'm coming at this from a place of being white, but I'll tell you part of why this does hold such a big place in my heart is for anybody who doesn't know, my husband is African American and my kids are biracial, and so I will tell you, it just makes all of this stuff so much more salient when all of a sudden this is not just a theory, but this is the people that you love who are closest to you who, you know, are potentially being affected by these issues that are political, that are social, that are so embedded in our culture. And anyway, I'm kind of going on a ramble. I don't know how the editing for this video is going to go, but I just want to say that raising two young boys who are biracial, who are going to run into some of these issues, you know, God, I hope that by the time they're teenagers, things have changed, but if they haven't, that they'll be dealing with some of these issues of potentially being treated differently by people, being treated differently by police, having, you know, the fact that we're going to have some of these conversations with them. These are really salient issues, and I think things that we need to think about. And one of my favorite lines in this book that kind of stood out to me is At one point, when one of the girls has been arrested and shouldn't have been, there's a protest going on and they're rallying together the other high school students to try to convince the police to free her. And one of the characters says, "You gotta tell the whole world that white kids ain't cool with this shit either." And I love that, you know, because the thing is that this is not just an issue for people who are black or brown or other minority groups. This is an issue for everybody, and this is something where everybody needs to say, hey, this is not okay. None of us are okay with this. None of us are cool with the way that this is happening. And yeah, okay, maybe it means that we have to dive deeper into issues that are uncomfortable and things that people have avoided talking about, or things that people aren't sure how to deal with or handle, or I mean, there's so much I could say and so much that goes into this, but I think the main point of what I want to say is this book is great. It's well written. It's a great story. It's great characters. It's a fun urban fantasy with magic, but it also just nails some of these big issues that we're dealing with in a personal way with these characters that you come to love and really care about. And you see like how the color of their skin becomes something that has a deep impact on them and on their ability to move freely and on their ability to be the people that they were created to be. Yeah, and so I just think he did a really good job with this. I don't know if this is a rant or a review or whatever, but I just finished reading this and felt inspired and wanted to make this video. So you guys, if you haven't checked it out, pick up the first book, Shadowshaper. It sets up the world. It's really great. And then absolutely, when it comes out September 12th, go pick up Shadowhouse Fall. Great books and so worth reading, and things that really need to be out there right now. So if you guys like this video and you want to see more, please do subscribe to my channel, and I would love to continue this conversation in the comments below. So if you have anything you want to contribute or things you want to add or things you think about Black Lives Matter, social issues, and racism, please leave them below. It's a conversation that I think is so important and something I'd like to continue there. So thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you next time.